All right, so in the last video, we got this bike all the way torn down to the transmission. Could not find a single thing wrong with it. So we're just gonna continue where we left off and go back together with this thing. I couldn't find anything wrong with this transmission, so I'm just gonna put it back in and see how it shifts through the gears. I mean, you can't fix nothing that's not broke, so. Okay, so one thing I noticed as I'm editing this video is that shift port C and shift port L were actually swapped when I tore this thing down. So I think that may have had something to do with the shifting issues. I got it right now. L and R are both on the right side and C is on its right side by itself. Okay, so the one that's labeled C goes on this side. The one that's on the single side, it's a little bit smaller than the others. The one that labels L is in the back, and the one that has R is in the front. Put this guy back on. And that's all it is to the bottom end. So I've got to clean all this material off real quick, and then I will be back. If you look, this rod even says 5LP. So I'm assuming that this is the OEM 2005 rod, cranking rod. All right, I got everything back in there and the case face is all cleaned up. It's ready for some gasket maker, which I do not have. I have to run to this town and grab some gasket maker real quick. I'm gonna go also grab a bite to eat. And then I'm gonna get back and get this case put back together. washer. Washer. So that is actually for your speed sensor right here. It's literally all that does. There's two little dots kind of lined up for your crank and your balancer to clear each other. So it's very, very, very important you should do that. Jeez. can see, I already got the piston rings on. I figured out why the cylinder's stripped out. Check this out. So from first glance, everything looks perfectly normal, right? Wrong. You can see these bolts are actually a little bit shorter on one side. So this is just a spare bolt. But these are the cylinder bolts. So you got two long ones and two short ones. Like, why? And as you can see, I put these bolts where these were supposed to go and these where these were supposed to go. So when these were in these bolt holes, it was missing this much threads. So that's why it stripped out, because only half the bolt was holding. It should have been like that. Why are they not all the same size? I don't get it, because these are the head bolts. If you look at them, they're the same length as the short one. But you can see they're smaller. And they have longer threads. I cannot believe that. The whole time, that's what was wrong with it. Unbelievable. That's why I made this channel though, just so you can watch me fail. But here's one thing, I will never make a mistake like that again. That is learning from your mistakes, that is gaining experience. And if you ever want to learn or be good at anything, you're gonna have failures like this. So in a way, it's a good thing because I learned something new. So I'm gonna take that. I also figured out the head gasket issue. So this bike has always leaked. It's always ran, but it won't hold water. It'll literally blow all the water out of the radiator after riding it for one day. So I finally figured out what was causing that, and I'll show you here. As you can see, I was literally missing both of these bolts on both sides. This is supposed to be 6 bolts, and I was only holding 4. So I just went ahead and ordered all new bolts for this thing, and I'm gonna put the right ones in the right place this time. Hopefully we have no issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing back together and finally be able to go ride it with the Stage 2 cam. See how powerful it is. Never use an impact gun when tightening up the sprocket on your cam. This is the brand new Stage 2, never even been used out the box, and I broke it when putting the sprocket on. I really hope this weld holds. It is cast to steel, so it's like cast. I don't know what the sprocket would technically be, but the cast, I don't know if it'll hold. I really hope it does. I guess we'll see. I decided to do a small port job while I had these valves out. And I had these valves out because I just put a Stage 2 cam in this thing. So I had to put new valves and upgraded springs. Also, what I did to fix the cylinder bolts from being stripped is I just put a helicool kit in it, and it works fine now. Finally, time for the first start. That one little pin causing me all this trouble. It goes right there, and whenever the bike's off, it sticks up a little bit. So it's up a little bit higher than this, which opens the valve just slightly. So the valve's actually cracked open. And then whenever it starts up, the centrifugal force opens these weights, which turns this shaft and makes it go back down in the hole. But my problem is I forgot to put the spring back on it, so it didn't go back down whenever it started. Of course, that freaking clutch is locked up. Seriously? So the time has finally come to sell the Raptor. Got a guy coming to get it for 2,800. I reverted everything back to stock except for the extended A arms and the stage 2 cam. It's got the stock bore 11-to-1 piston, and I put the tires that originally came with it on there. There she goes. The Raptor series is officially over. It's honestly really hard to see it go, but I'm ready to move on to bigger and better things.